Alright, so welcome to retzone.ca, and it's another Throwdown Thursday. Today we're going to be doing a no-death run on Contra, of course. Alright, so warmed up a little bit. Still a little rusty, but give it a shot. It's not a long game. I think realistically, once you kind of find your rhythm, it's really not bad. Like, even beating it with Konami code or something like that, it's really not too bad. Even doing it without the code. Once you kind of find your rhythm, it's a pretty simple game. I say simple, I guess it's kind of derivative, but there's a couple spots you gotta memorize, but realistically I think it's a game that anybody could, with a bit of practice, you could beat it with without the Konami code and everything like that. Impress your friends. Big thing is keeping spread. Like, obviously spread's gonna make your life a lot easier in this game. In this game, they didn't actually change the damage values at all for weapons. So everything does the same amount of damage. Every bullet does exactly the same amount of damage. So, you have spread, obviously you're doing a lot more damage, versus having something like, well, basically anything. Flame is obviously the worst in this one, just because it's a slow-moving single shot. Just the absolute worst thing you can have. The weird thing is, but this one is actually Contra 2 Super C. They actually changed it around. So in Super C, weapons have different damage values. So in that one, actually, Flame is technically your best weapon. Spread's better for just basic enemies and everything like that, but for bosses, Flame will actually kill them a lot faster. So a lot of speedruns for Super C will actually be using Flame through the whole thing. Theoretically, I suppose you can try to change between them as you go, but, I mean, having Flame is usually good enough. I don't know why, I just habitually kill that one on the right. This makes me feel good. The nice thing about spread is you can just stand to the side, and since these things can only shoot at certain angles, you can actually just stand to the side there and just keep shooting it, and it won't be able to shoot you at all. Shooting the onion rings at you. There you go, first boss dead. It shoots onion rings, and later on we get some shrimp shooting at us. Stage 3. First vertical stage. It's actually the only vertical stage. I was kind of talking to a buddy before about it, because I have a Contra arcade. And I was saying, like, yeah, you know, Contra is a pretty vertical game. And I was like, you know, actually, it's not really. It's just... this is really the only vertical stage. I think Super C is a lot more vertical than Contra. In the arcade, it's a bit different too, though, because you have things like the base stage is a little bit different because you actually kind of run through the stage, but don't really. It's totally different. Like the arcade is kind of obviously the NES version is derived from it, but it changed a lot around. I don't think I've really tried actually doing a no-death run on the arcade. I've played it a bunch, but never really bothered trying to do like a no-death, just because, I mean, things like resetting is a lot more annoying to do on an arcade versus a home console. Funny enough, on the home console, I actually use a little arcade button to do my resetting, which I'll show you to beat this guy. More onion rings. stand right here. I'm gonna shoot up. So this is my little reset button. I'm not gonna hit it now because I don't want to accidentally reset myself. But there it is. I'll make a little box for that later. Yeah. Part of trying to set up in a new spot. So, trying to set up things in a way that makes my life a little bit easier. Especially for games like this where I'm trying to do challenges or anything like that. Like, if I'm resetting, yeah, I don't want to be getting up and going over there to reset it all the time. I'd rather be able to just hit my little button and get back to it. There we go. So before, a nice thing about spread, I don't need to necessarily stand right line of sight of things. I can just stand a bit angled off to it. There's a couple spots that comes in handy. Grab my rapid fire, even though I have it already. It's kind of annoying because you gotta jump at it. I don't know if that's the only one you have to jump at. I think it is. Would you like to kill those guys before they can even shoot? We're fighting Bubble Man. What was his weakness in Mega Man? Is it, Cut Man he used on? I think. It's been so long since I played Mega Man 1. I think he's Bubble on Flame. That was always one of the last ones I did. I'll have to sit down and play it again sometime soon. So, Snowfield. So this one's, like I was saying before, is memorization with it. A lot of it's memorizing where those guys are with the, oh, as I die. Memorizing the spots where those guys are with the little turrets. So when you memorize where they are, they're always going to be there. Those are usually the guys. They're kind of put strategically to be a pain. But if you remember where they are, then it makes your life a little bit easier. Like I said before, usually once you kind of find a rhythm, it's not too bad. And here, just walk off. I actually used to like laser. Back when I was a kid playing this game, I used to be like, laser was great. That was more so in Super C though. I like to use laser. Like I said before, their weapons had different damage values, so having something like laser was sometimes beneficial because it was like a whole string of shots at once. Spread is always king though. Everybody always wants spread. Spread's kind of like cheating though. Just shooting everything on screen at once. I always used to remember the one I always died at was Energy Zone and Hangar were usually my two most difficult stages when I was a kid. I actually found now, dodge that one. From playing it a lot more, I always find now it's more, I don't find those ones too bad. Because those are more, just if you memorize the stage, they're really not that difficult. Snowfield can be kind of a pain, just some of the enemy locations. But, for the most part, it's not too bad. Like I said, if you can memorize the game, it'll make your life easier. That kind of goes without saying. That was close. Just gotta watch those enemies kind of coming right off the side of the screen at you like that. Maybe just getting my life insurance. I don't need it, but you know what? It's just one of those things. It's nice to have. Just gotta watch those enemies kind of coming right off the side of the screen at you like that. Sometimes they'll be kind of shooting off in space like that because of enemies like that. They just will spawn right on top of you almost. Nope. Oops, shouldn't jump there, that's alright. Usually you want to kind of avoid unnecessary movement. If you don't need to jump, then don't jump. Because that's obviously going to take away from your ability to maneuver around like you need to. It's kind of like Castlevania in that sense. You don't want to move unless you need to move. Otherwise you're just going to hurt yourself. I don't really need to kill that one, but I'll just do it anyway. It's kind of halfway mark. It's only 8 stages, so... Lay here. One thing you really need to watch for there is bombs. Sometimes enemies will throw a bomb at you and kill you if you're laying down. Last room is always the same. One on the left, one on the right, one in the middle. Just wanted to get to the boss. So I don't have to worry about those other guys coming. Sometimes they can be annoying. Take a little bit of uncertainty out of it. This fight is definitely a lot easier once you're just down to one. Just dodge the one bubble and that's it. 2 could be kind of a pain. But usually you shoot one because you're shooting the boss anyway. Alright, let's try that again. Let's make sure we don't die this time. It's something that you should never die at. A little bit cautious. Just because. Don't let that one go. So it's kind of nice to get that last guy in it, but that's alright. Here is actually a spot to stand where it will not shoot you. Apparently I'm bad at that today. That's fine. There's a spot where if you stand close enough, it'll angle the gun down, and you can just stand there shooting it. And it won't actually be able to shoot you, because it'll be shooting through your feet. The joy of hitboxes. What's actually there isn't really what's there. Let's get close first and get it aimed down. There we go. I can stand here and do that. It's a little bit further back. That's fine. You kind of want to stand between the two lines. Usually I use the line as kind of a guide marker, and I have my foot a little bit, I guess, kind of standing on the line. It's usually the best spot, but yeah, like I said before, I'm kind of rusty. Not the end of the world. This boss is pretty simple. This little ship. Obviously, spread makes it a lot easier. There's a couple random spots you can start at. But stand underneath, spam shots, good to go. And then we're on to Energy Zone. So we've got Energy Zone, Hangar, and an Alien layer left. So Energy Zone is not too bad. It's just memorizing where some of this stuff is. And kind of stick to your plan. So you gotta come up here. Kind of annoying. Sometimes you get the enemies running behind you, which can kill you. Did a 180. Alright. These obviously all go in sequence. You can kind of just watch them. And then the big thing is getting your barrier here. So, back up a bit. Yeah, it was a bit riskier than I wanted to. Normally you can kind of get the go a little bit close, get the one flame to shoot, and then let the bottom one shoot by itself, and then it's a pretty clear opening to get down there. Once you got that, then this is simple. You can just run through all this. You don't need to worry about it. The only one you do need to worry about is actually one at the end there, because sometimes you get there and your barrier runs out right as you're jumping through, and you just die. So this guy's kind of a pain. Little discus thrower. It's not jumping over him that's hard, it's just that when he decides he wants to throw multiple ones at you. I've actually had it a couple times before where he just would jump in place and then keep jumping towards me, and there's just nothing I could do. Hangar's not too bad. Hangar's just memorization. It's remembering where those walls are going to come up at you. And memorizing where a couple of stationary guys are. If you can do that, then you should be good to go. Actually, the first one coming up here right away. So that guy was always a pain for me. I'd always forget about him, and he would just kill me. So I got a couple walls coming up. I'm just gonna let that go by. Probably playing a lot more cautious than I need to, but yeah. At this point, I'd rather play a little bit cautious. Obviously, spread, like I said, makes these a lot easier, just because you shoot so many bullets into it. Especially later on is important. Whoa. A little bit risky. I don't even need barrier. I don't know why I grab it, but might as well. I feel like grabbing it this time. There's a part coming up where it's kind of nice to have the upper path. Oops. Be right here. Now, I'm glad I had barrier, because otherwise I probably would have died there. It's nice being able to go up here just because I don't have to worry about anything. Down there is not too bad. You don't even take the cart. It's just a bad idea because the cart moves at a pace, and you can't really determine that pace. It's going to move at its own speed. So you'd rather be in control of your guy as much as you can be. So I always take the top path there, which normally you just ride the one. Watch for these little guys coming behind me. Oh, that was close. There we go. That one gets me sometimes, because it'll shoot up the angle and it'll actually hit me. Alright, alien lair, last stage. On to the shrimps. One's barrier there. I don't really need it, but like I said, anytime you can get barrier, it's kind of nice. Might as well, right? Shoot little fluff balls that shoot at you. What the heck go by? I don't know. I don't remember what it is right now. So, big thing is if I can memorize where the spreads are, the rapid fires are, and the barriers are, then I can always grab every one of them. Yeah, I'm just gonna shoot these guys from far away. Oops, didn't want to do that. That's fine. Make it work. Coming up at the end here. Watch these guys don't decide to jump at me while I'm jumping. Obviously, every one of these pods you destroy is going to make your life a lot easier. That's a lovely kill. There we go. I'm worried about. Usually, I'll get the three, so the top left, the bottom left, and then the bottom right one. Usually I'll kill all three of those just to make my life a little bit easier, just because you don't want one coming out of the top pod and just coming right at you, and then you're having to run back and then dodge it and jump over it. Sometimes better just go for broke, kill the heart, call it a day. Yay. There you go. So it's Contra no death. Let's go for loop 2. I'll just take a run at it and see. I don't really have much expectations for second loop. I wait for the credits, I guess, but that's fine. I'll just call it that. So there you go. It's Contra no death. I know for the second loop, it's things like enemies get faster and stuff like that. So there you go. So let's throw down Thursday. And that was, of course, Contra. So if you like what you see, obviously hit like, hit subscribe if you're not already. Throw a comment down, something you want to see. I might record a couple other videos later today. We'll see what's going on. And yeah, we'll try to get some more content out there for you guys. All right, enjoy.